Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! Hello? Hello? Hey? Hey, here I am. Yeah. What do you mean? Who are you? I've only been in this seat for over 5 years. What do you mean? Who am I? Who are you? What do you mean? All right, he says I have to quote him. He doesn't know who I am, but he wants me to quote him first. Yeah. Meow, meow. Meow. Said, blessed Good Friday, blessed Good Friday to you. And by the way, who the heck are you? I've only been here. What do you mean? I've only been here at the right hand. Hold on. At the left paw of a cat for 5.5 years at this table, or other variable facsimiles of tables, for 5 years, since January 12th, 2012. 1/12/2012. A lot of ones and twos in there. Must be in base 3 for you mathematic buffs out there. 0, 1s, and 2s. Okay, it said, meow, meow, said, by the way, who are you? Come on. What? That's only twice. Okay. Said, all right, I understand it's Good Friday, so in order to do this right, I have to deny I know you 3 times. So here goes one more time. Said, what was that question I was asking you again? Thanks. So, welcome to Basil BuddhaCat Presents! Exclamation point. Or, as we translated on most recent Progressive Soup shows, when we had Emanuela Palmares on visiting Progressive Soup, and we of course had to do our obligatory shout out to El Gato de los Gatos. Now, you may have to translate for me because my Portuguese is still a little weak. But we had to, instead of calling you Basil BuddhaCat Presents! Exclamation point, it was Basil BuddhaGato Presenta y punto de exclamación. Did I get it right? Said another few minutes of this and we won't even have to do a show. I mean, you know, we'll just be celebrated had our Good Friday celebration. And we're doing Passover too, of course. You know, we're doing matzah too. So we've done that, and both of us have, you know, crackers dribbling from our his crackers apparently are a little drier than mine because he's a little bit more cracker paper like himself. But so what do you have planned for Good Friday? I mean, said said there, that's 3. We're official. Happy Good Friday. So you don't have anything. You've got Basil apparently has more he wants to talk about this No Cats Around Anymore, the No Cats Around Anymore tournament, particularly on the women's side, where he called the Yukon Huskies. Finally, of course, he's been calling it all year. He said that all year he's been predicting that they're going to lose a game because they're not the team they had last year. Certainly, they had the top 3 players on their team graduate. Seniors, imagine that, graduating and going on, rather than in the men's side where they put in about a half a year and decide that oh, by the way, I can be drafted when I'm I don't even have to go through my freshman year anymore. But hey, Carmelo Anthony, there you go. We're through 1 year. Syracuse won the national championship, and bang. University of Kentucky. I mean, they had in 5 years they had 2 national championships and 3 other Final Four appearances. And every year, every player on their team, the whole starting 5, all freshmen generally. Hey, it's on the Scrabble board. Basil said. So we're going to talk about some sellouts. Some sellouts in this dude's government, and people he knows that are pulling the strings from behind the scenes, and we'll get to that. So Kentucky would always do well in the they're Kentucky Wildcats, so at least you should be happy about that. Basil said. Oh yeah, that's true. I should be happy that at least the team in the Wildcats was doing well during those years that Kentucky was. Well, Kentucky did pretty well this year, but like those other cats, the Arizona Wildcats, or was it Arizona State? One or the other. The ones from Arizona, Wildcats, yeah, the Villanova Wildcats and the Kentucky Wildcats all dropped out. And on the women's side, as Basil finally was correct, the Yukon Huskies lost to a team, not the Cats, huh? Okay. Well, okay. Basil's got a wry grin on his face, and he always seems to be right about something or other. You can find a twist in every road, an extra chapter in every story, which an epilogue that proves him correct on whatever he was talking about. Said yeah, I was right. The Huskies lost, and by the way, it might have been to a team named the Mississippi State Bulldogs. But here's the twist on the story. Every single player, including those on the bench, every player from Mississippi State had the name Cathy. So there you go. Some salvation here. Speaking of Good Friday, and of course we're going into our Easter weekend, and Basil and I are both devout Christians religiously and Buddhist philosophically. So this is a big time of the year for us. So Basil, another biblical word, Basil has an epiphany and realizes that he was right after all, and it might have been the Mississippi State Bulldogs that beat the Yukon Huskies. But every one of the bulldogs, kind of a stealth situation. So every one of the bulldogs actually was named Kathy. So, how about that? So, here we go. Okay. We can talk about the Scrabble board first, or what? Said, so, well, it's Good Friday, but we got to get a little debauchery in, because come Sunday morning, when we do our Sunday morning show on Basil BuddhaCat presenta y punto G exclamación. You learned a lot of Portuguese from Emanuela. And by the way, since here's the deal we struck was that since I'm plugging your show, Basil BuddhaCat presenta y punto G exclamación, on every Progressive Soup show now, you got to do in kind for me. You got to speak about my show. You got to talk about. No. Basil said, let's go for 4. Who the heck are you? And what's the name of your show? Professor Poop or something like that? No, it's Progressive Soup, not Professor Poop. Said, oh yeah. So, well, you know, if you walk around where dogs are, you're bound to pick up some from Professor Poop on the soles of your shoes. Unless you happen to be wearing my Where the Wild Things Are, Basil BuddhaCat, Where the Wild Things Are slippers, because they're poop proof. New corporate sponsor said, I don't know if anybody even well, hold on. Said, I don't even know if they make them anymore. I mean, you know, these are Kristen's and show producer Kristen Schoenfeld's. And they may not even be making these anymore. I mean, we may have to be selling retro ones or something. And he said, by the way, while we're trying to get a little ka-ching in the Friday night coffers and in the Sunday morning coffers, BM baked beans, the original baked beans, 99% fat-free, excellent source of fiber. This particular variety with molasses, pork, and spices, but they also make an onion and bacon variety, vegetarian variety, and maybe a couple others. Delicious B&M baked beans are slow baked in brick ovens for hours. Our baking method produces beans with a perfect texture and deep flavor unlike any others. Wholesome and healthful BM baked beans are sweetened with molasses and cane sugar, are an excellent source of fiber, and 99% fat-free. No. Let's leave it at that. We want to keep our sponsorship with these guys at least. Basil Diga. Basil said, now if it's 99% fat-free, wonder what that other 1% is. Well, don't ask that question, because people are going to start, and we're going to go down the label. Ingredients. Baked beans, pea beans with pork and sauce, containing water, sugar, molasses, salt, cornstarch modified, seasoning blend, dehydrated onions and garlic, dextrose, spice, natural flavors, soybean oil, spice, and 1% chicken lard. Oh well. That one's got a hollow ring to it. So yeah, it's Friday night, but what debauchery? I can't imagine any debauchery, any sauciness on Basil BuddhaCat presenta y punto de exclamación. So Basil said, meow. He's been following these these guys that are in power now, and they got some raw raunchy background. I mean, you know, they promote this thing called cuckold, and don't even go there.
Your kitty cat says someone is trying to call you. Kitty says hurry up and answer. Don't make Kitty angry by not answering. Uh-oh.
Huh. Wait. Lil, hey, Lil, you're on the phone. You're here. You don't have to call us on you don't have to call us on this phone. You're on this phone. You got the phone of all phones. The cat, you got the cat in the hat phone. You don't need to be on. You need to try to reach out to us any other way. Okay, she said, I'm getting cold. If I'm part of this story of pushing the stone out of the way and rising from the depth, if I'm playing a role in this, you need to get crack-a-lacking, because it's cold in this cave. I'm ready to push the stone out of the way and come on out. Okay. Lil, you enlisted Lil to be part of the story of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, returning from the crucified, put in a cave, and on the third day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, third day, she's going to push that stone out of the way, walk out, and the calico cat will return as the calico stone. Now, I know we've been talking about that periodically ever since Lil passed away about 3 years ago, and remember when Americo, our good friend Americo Carrasco, came on and using this piano, actually played some very appropriate music for Lil's memorial service, and not a dry eye in the house. I mean, of course, it was only Kristen and Americo and me, and you do have a little smudges still on your from that about 3 years ago now. Wow. So anyway, yeah, okay. Hang around, Lil. We'll get you out of that cave pretty soon, and you can join us. Hold on. So okay. So what do you mean? I don't even understand what a cuckold is. Basil said, look on the Scrabble board. It's not there yet, but just imagine the Scrabble board saying cuckold soccer. In other words, let me put it to you this way. Let's say somebody's doing what a guy that does that thing with his wife and some other guy, and that's a cuckold. Okay. Now take those. Say somebody runs in and whaps the guy and says, "What a stupid thing to do to your wife." Not to mention to some other guy to get involved in this kind of debauchery. Well, it is Friday night. We still got a little time before our Sunday morning service. Special Sunday morning Basil BuddhaCat Presents show. Okay, so now imagine you take the letters, picture if you will, on the Scrabble board, cuckold soccer. No. We're not going to rearrange those letters, because I can only imagine what you might be thinking of to to rearrange those letters too. Let's get back. Okay, hold on. We did the Mississippi State Bulldogs actually being everyone on the team named Cat the. So they're all cats anyway. Okay. Now I noticed on the board there's 3 other names, and I'm sure you'll find a way to. Well, you want me to read them off first? Okay. Basil said. Said, yep. Okay, so on the board, a couple tiles may have fallen out of place, but it says there are 3 names on there. Well, there's first of all something about the court. The court is in sessions, and that's our friend, our buddy here, the little Jeffrey Peterson, covering up a certain. Well, actually, just covers up this Heineken, this giant green Heineken bottle, and ready to pop its cork, if you will. And says, welcome, and welcome is with KKK, to Sessions Hood. Now, we got to go back and look at the other shows, too. Got to go back in the archives now to find those shows. Our discussions about Jeff Sessions and his special place in the Trump cabinet. Well, it's Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer is there too still. Basil says, yeah. and where would the late night comics be without that guy? And how would Anne Frank not be rolling over in her grave without that guy saying that? Oh, by the way, I'm not saying that the Holocaust didn't exist, but I'm just saying that even that guy Hitler, he didn't use chemical weapons against his own people. No. That was only Bashar al-Assad. Only he would do that. Hitler would never do that because Hitler had a pretty cool looking mustache and everything, and he swung his arm around and swung this. I don't know which one he swung up, but he was his era's wild and crazy mass murderer guy. So okay, the 3 names: J. Michael Pearson, Howard Schiller, and William A. Ackerman. So I know they've been in the news. They got some relation to Trump, I'm sure. Probably something to do with those Goldman Sachs Wall Street guys that Trump hated and would never find their way into the swamp. Now it seems like the whole swamp is just teeming with those guys. Is Jojo Benedetto coming back? Okay, Basil said. Said, you better believe it. He's good for another story or 2 or 3. Okay, he went on to say, that I want to hear you and Kristen scream a couple more times in agony. Is that Jojo Benedetto lures you in to pet him and then claws the ever-living bejesus out of you? Well, I guess we could say bejesus on Good Friday. I mean, you know. So, yeah. Jojo Benedetto, thanks. Yeah. So all we need is that dude to come back. I mean, you know, it's funny, though, because Jojo Benedetto is a very innocuous-sounding name. Very nice, gentle-sounding name. And look what he did to us. And on the other end, we had I forget his real name because we had a cat that, remember the cat that visited us with when his family was moving from one place to another and couldn't. They got into a place and they had to sneak the cat that wasn't supposed to be in their apartment down in the North Bronx, up by the whatever river that is that they, I guess it's Riverside Drive. Nice apartment though, but so they had this cat, and we took the cat in, and the cat was such a loving cat, great cat, really nice, orange and white tiger stripe, just a cool cat. But he had this little odd shaped blurb on the front of his face of orange that sort of stuck out a little bit, and so needless to say, Kristen and I named him Orange Hitler. And ironic though that Orange Hitler was pretty good cat and an exemplary, a fine cat, and yet Jojo Benedetto, innocuous sounding name, turned out to be a demon. So I gotta no. I'm so tempted to ask you what this thing about this cuckold. What'd you call it? Cuckold soccer, or somebody that comes in that whaps a guy doing this debauchery, and what you get out of those letters? No, don't even tell me. I don't want to know. It can't be good. It's got to be pretty disgusting after all, I'm sure. So we're going to have to come back now because we got this thing started where no, I'm not doing these again, and I don't think your friend Dick Van Dyke is even around anymore. Thankfully. All right, you want me to try to do some catfishing while we're here? Fishing line, a little bit problematic. No, okay. Okay, Walter's not. Hey, Walter, we need you up here, Walter. This place is a mess. We got to get the sanctuary here all cleaned up for Sunday morning, because I imagine we're going to be doing just Sunday morning, the Easter Sunday portion of this show. So, okay, let's leave it be at that. Then Basil BuddhaCat presents. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host and occasionally recognized person. Oh, it's just because of the tie is Paisley. That's what it is. Basil said, okay, well, we'll fade out. We'll fade out as we try to figure what that is, and we'll come back. We'll come back Sunday morning, and yeah, Lil. Okay, yep. We'll get you. We'll get you out of that cave pretty soon. Then Basil BuddhaCat presents. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter and chief gopher, and we shall see you Easter morning. Have a blessed Good Friday.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.